New audiobooks read by Bluey's dad, recording sessions in Australia, previews of those audiobooks. Let's talk about Penny Pangolin. Hi, Wayne D. Kramer here, author of the Penny Pangolin Children's Picture Book series. If you've been following along recently, then you've already heard the exciting news. But for those of you who haven't, here it is. David McCormack, the voice of Bandit Heeler, Bluey's dad in the hit cartoon show Bluey, has just narrated audiobooks for all 6 Penny Pangolin stories. I'm here to give you a fun-filled post-Australian trip report with plenty of pictures and videos to share this amazingly fun experience with you. We also just got the audiobook files back from the studio, so we'll include some samples of the completed recordings for you here throughout this video. A little bit from each book. First of all, it's a long way to Australia. Total travel time from Louisville, Kentucky to Sydney, Australia was about 28 hours. In my case, I flew from Louisville to Denver, Colorado to Los Angeles, California, and then from Los Angeles to Sydney. That last flight alone was over 15 hours. Thanks to airline miles, I got a discount on a nice seat, so I was able to get a bit of rest, as good a rest as you can get on an airplane. Finally watched the movie Wicked, and even got in a bit of writing time. After arriving in Sydney, I was pleased to find a very comfortable hotel room with a really cool view from the balcony. Here's me just after arriving. This out. Here in Sydney, it's a beautiful fall morning because this is the southern hemisphere and the sun's shining directly at me, but there is a view of the Opera House. So very cool. So, smooth flights, comfortable hotel, walking distance from the Sydney Opera House and harbor. The trip was definitely off to a nice start, and it only got better from there. The next day was the recording session. I arrived at Sound Kitchen, a studio specializing in audiobooks, a bit early to ensure everything was ready to go. Huge shout out to Carly and Bill, who are excellent to work with there from Sound Kitchen. Then Dave McCormack arrived, and the room just lit up. He was in high spirits and was immediately like, "So, we're finally doing it, huh? This is finally happening." Of course, I'm like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Now, if you saw my previous video where I explained how all of this came to be, you might recall that I met Dave at the Lexington Comic-Con and Toy Expo a little over a year ago. I was both surprised and impressed that Dave remembered me from that encounter. He also thanked me for the books I had given him. After more than a year, honestly, I didn't know if he'd kept the books or even remembered getting them, so that was pretty cool. So I found out from the get-go that he's a genuinely nice and friendly guy. After a bit of chatting, we got right into recording of the audiobooks, starting with Penny Pangolin Wants a Pet.
"Can we please get a pet?" Penny finally asked her parents. She waited while her parents talked about it. "You've done a very good job caring for your plant," said her mother. "We think you're responsible enough to help take care of a pet," said her father. Penny bounced on her tail in excitement. "Yay!" she cheered. "But what pet should we get?" they all said together. "A monkey?" asked her father. "They climb too much," said her mother. "A macaw?" asked her mother. "Too much squawking," said her father. "A snake?" asked Penny. "No," both her parents said quickly. They just couldn't decide.
Each book was handled the same way. Dave would do an initial read-through to get a feel for it. Then we went back to the beginning and had him read through the entire book page by page, usually getting multiple reads of every single line. Doing that made sure we got the absolute best sound for every line and every word without any technical issues or mistakes, like this one.
Then she heard Otis shout, "Baboons have big red bottoms. It's red bottom boo-boo."
So it's red bottom Bobo.
Bobo.
Bobo. One more. Okay.
Sorry, Dave, I just had to use that. That was from The Baboon Bully, one of the brand new books launching in a few months. It was a ton of fun to hear it read, and it turned out great. And here's a sample of the final audiobook for Baboon Bully.
One morning, Bobo called out, "Penny Pinecone has rotten bug breath." Penny had finally had enough. At lunch, she walked past Bobo's table and smashed his box of guava juice. It splashed all over Bobo's shirt. Mrs. Silver Dog had seen Penny and said, "You need to come with me." Penny couldn't believe it. Bobo had been bullying her for weeks, and she was the one getting in trouble? It was so unfair. She felt like screaming.
Of course, the whole time I'm hearing Bandit read this. It was too cool. After the first two books, Penny Wants a Pet and The Baboon Bully, we took a short break. I gathered this to be Dave's first time in this particular studio because this was his first audiobooks project, and I'm pretty sure I heard him say that he had not been there before. Even so, he made himself right at home, making us both some tea while we were taking a break. By this time, the studio had everything set up for our promotional video, which we were recording together. Recording that was a lot of fun. We'll link to it here in the comments. We did a few takes of that, and I'm really happy with how it turned out.
That was sick. That
Awesome.
was sick, man.
Great job.
Let's take this on the road.
Yeah, let's do it. Next up was recording of Penny Pangolin and the Missing Ant Cake.
Look, cried Vin. Someone must have taken it. The friends followed the trail of crumbs along the village road.
And then the rock soup.
They also knew to be careful. Some ingredients could make pangolins sick. Just no red and yellow caterpillars, Vin said. That gives me a bad tummy ache and makes my scale.
Here's a sample of the finished audiobook for The Missing Ant Cake.
Something smells terrific, Vin said when he arrived. Penny clapped. We made you our special lemon ant cake. They went into the kitchen with eager stomachs. Vin looked around. Where's the cake? Penny gasped. It's gone! Look, cried Vin. Someone must have taken it. The friends followed the trail of crumbs along the village road.
And the rock soup.
It was peaceful and quiet. Except during the annual festival. During that time, music and laughter filled the air. The sights, sounds, and smells of carnival fun were everywhere.
After recording those, our time in the studio was nearly ended, and Dave's voice was getting a bit tired. I'm sure anyone's would be after nearly 4 hours of straight recording. But Dave still happily recorded a little message for me to send home to my kids.
Hi, Dawn, Brooke, Holly, Ivy, and Jade. I'm here with the great man, your dad. We've just been having a blast doing this. Look, this is incredible. You got to be proud of that dude. He's a legend, like all dads are.
Thank you so much.
See you later. I'll come visit.
And Stumpfest.
Yeah, Stumpfest!
Awesome. Thanks a lot. I had originally expected we'd finish everything in one recording session. I mean, they are children's books. So I'd only booked 3 nights in Sydney. But unfortunately, we didn't finish all the books in the one recording session. We still needed one more. So I had a backup session booked. That backup session wouldn't be until the following Monday, however, and the plan would be that I would have to direct it remotely by video call. However, after talking to my wife, Kaylee, and the kids, we all agreed it would be best if I could extend my trip and be there in person for both sessions. I mean, after all, I was already in Sydney, so I got to spend the weekend there. And over that weekend, I got in some more walking around the harbor whenever it wasn't raining, checked out some area bookshops, got in some work, and watch the new Mission Impossible movie on opening day. Finally, it was time for the second and final recording session. After Dave got there, we had a bit more friendly chatter when I learned that Dave had tragically never seen any of the Mission Impossible movies. Got a quick selfie in, and then we were off. We started things off with the tablet Turmoil.
A few weeks later, Penny got a gift from her Aunt Petunia. "Wow," shouted Penny, "a tablet!" "I'm not sure about this, Petunia," said Penny's mother. "Penny is a little young to have her own tablet." Aunt Petunia waved her off. I just got the latest model, so I thought I'd give my old one to my favorite niece. She patted Penny's head. Besides,
Here's a bit of how it turned out.
Penny loved her new tablet. She made funny faces of herself for her friends to laugh at. She could share pictures and videos within seconds. She could look up the answer to whatever question came to her mind. Of course, her parents had to approve of everything first.
And finally was the Termite Trophy, another of the brand new titles about to launch.
Seconds later, Team Otis and Pat were side by side, just ahead of Team Penny. "Look!" shouted Vin, pointing at Team Pat's car. One of Pat's teammates was pushing a thin wooden pole out from the side of their car. It got caught in Team Otis's wheel and caused them to crash. Without a second thought, Penny swerved to the side and stopped. "Are you okay?" she called. "We're fine," said Otis, inspecting his car. "What happened?" "Pat's team cheated," said Vin. "Yeah, and now they're going to win the race and tournament," Edith huffed. "It doesn't matter," Penny replied. "Come on, we'll start again right here and race down together, fair and square."
To top it all off, Dave had brought me some goodies. Vinyl records, shirts, and a CD of his rock band ventures, Custard and David McCormack and the Polaroids, including this Bandit water bottle, all of which he autographed. Hi from Bandit, David McCormack, 2025. This was such a fun experience. After Dave read that last line of that last book,
he grabbed Penny's claw and raised it to the air, and raised it into the air. "3 cheers for Team Penny! Hip, hip, hooray!"
I was a bit sad that it was all over, but I can tell you for sure that these audiobooks are going to be great. So what happens next? A few final checks and edits are getting done with the audio files, including running them past my ruthless QA team, my kids, and then it's on to all the nitty-gritty of distribution. As of the recording of this video, the audiobooks are available now for pre-order at shop.pennypangolin.com. Ordering that way allows you to listen via the BookFunnel app and gets you the MP3 downloadable files that you can then play on phone and tablet devices, computers, burn to CD, load onto Yodo cards, all that good stuff. Later, they will be on Audible, Kobo, Google Play, Apple Books, and many other audiobook platforms. I can tell you, now that we have studio files, that the audiobooks each run at least 10 minutes each. You can get them individually, or for even better value, get a set of 3 or all 6. Or if you buy the new hardcover books at shop.pennypangolin.com, you'll get the audiobooks as a free download. Right now, everything on pre-order is discounted. In addition, if you buy the hardcover sets of 3 or 6 books, you get the new Penny Pangolin coloring book for free also. We're trying to get you some great deals on great stuff here, folks. You're gonna love it. We expect the audiobooks to be done within about a month of this recording, and we expect everything, new print books, audiobooks, and ebooks, to launch by October 1st, 2025. Okay, that does it for now. Thank you so much for listening to my post-Australian trip update. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, my friends, have a Pango perfect day.